Okay, thank you very much. Today we have an excellent panel for workforce development and employment needs section for the program. To my left, we have got Mr. James Martinez. He's the Executive Director of the Guam Contractors Association. Round of applause. Thank you. Next to him, we have Mary Torrey, who's the President of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association. Mary, raise your hand. Okay. Next to her, we have Carl Peterson, who's the chairman of the Chamber Education Workforce Development Committee. However, in his real job, he is a certified financial planner and the owner of Money Resources. Welcome, Carl. Okay, and last but not least is a woman most of us know, Maria Conley. She is the director of the Guam Department of Labor. Maria? Welcome, Maria. Okay. Each of these panel members has 3 minutes. 3 minutes, okay, to discuss what their organization has been doing to prepare for the build-up. They won't be using slides, so I'm going to kick off. I will start off to my left with James. When we do the 2-minute questions, Maria will kick off each question, but for this I will start with James. So James, you want to start with your 3 minutes?
Okay, thank you, Carrie. I'll try to keep it to 3 minutes. Hafa day and buenas, and good afternoon. The Guam Contractors Association was incorporated on November 5th of 1959. In fact, we had just recently celebrated our 50th anniversary this past weekend. With an initial membership of just 7 companies back in 1959, we have now grown to a 495-member association today. Our contractor members represent over 2/3 of all construction volume here on the island. Perhaps one of the biggest challenges Guam will face in this unprecedented Guam buildup is the substantial demand for a skilled local workforce. For the construction industry alone, we will need anywhere from 15,000 to 20,000 skilled workers over the next 5 to 10 years to fill construction jobs in all the different trades during this buildup. Because of this anticipated shortage of a skilled local labor force in our industry, the Guam Contractors Association established the GCA Trades Academy 3 years ago to train our local workforce utilizing a nationally recognized curriculum and standardized training process developed by the National Center for Construction Education and Research, a not-for-profit education foundation serving a broad spectrum of industry, including construction, maintenance, and pipeline. The training process itself is portable, meaning that the knowledge and skills learned by trainees can be taken from project to project, state to state, or in our case, island to island, and from company to company, regardless of the size and type. The use of journeyman-level certified instructors in their respective trades elevates the quality of training by having actual practitioners in the trades share their real-work experiences with the trainees. While the GCA Trades Academy is poised to train students interested in the construction trade, it is limited by its current capacity to train the thousands needed in this buildup. We'll be seeing workers from the U.S. will relocate to Guam to support the military buildup, but the bulk of these jobs will be filled by local workforce and temporary alien workers. The buildup will require the support of skilled workers with backgrounds in engineering, construction, and maintenance. This buildup will also drive the need for more teachers, doctors, nurses, child care workers, law enforcement, and hospitality staff. These workforce demand will present a huge challenge to Guam's education and workforce development institutions. It is for this reason that the GCA will be working closely with our Guam Workforce Investment Board in creating a community workforce development action group, which include partnerships with key institutions to implement an island-wide workforce development strategy. The action group should be a representative sample of the community and should include community opinion leaders and key stakeholders ranging from government agencies, elected officials, educational institutions, community-based organizations, the private sector, and of course the military. The goal of the action group should be to develop a consolidated Guam workforce development strategy which reflects the input of all the stakeholders. This is by no means a simple feat, but also not an impossible one to accomplish. When the community works together in tandem, we can overcome any and all obstacles to ensure that our local residents get the skills and education needed to prosper in Guam's new economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Thank you, James. Next we will hear from Mary.
Hafa and buenas, everybody. I'm Mary Torrey, the president of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association. GHRA has been around for about 37 years. It is the leading nonprofit organization for private sector in the tourism, focusing on the tourism industry. We have over 300 members, and those members represent about 60% of the island's gross domestic product, and also directly employs 20,000 employees just in the hospitality industry. If you count all of the service industries that support hospitality, you would get up to about 35,000 in the private sector supporting that. Also, we total payrolls of over 600 million in payroll and benefits. So if you can imagine just the amount of revenue that's generated. We also pay over 20 million in gross receipts taxes, as well as an additional tax called the hotel occupancy tax. So with all of that, we're a huge contributor to the island, as you know, and as mentioned earlier, probably in the previous panel before the keynote speaker, that's something that we're very concerned about, and we need to balance. Something that I'm sure Guam Visitors Bureau had mentioned earlier is that we need to find balance and make sure that we manage our resources appropriately. I know this panel today we're going to be discussing the labor issues, but I think all of the issues come into play, not just labor, but also the infrastructure, the socioeconomic issues which the tourism industry is concerned about. But we always partner with local government, federal government, and all of our private sector partners and industry stakeholders. So we hope that all of you would consider joining, whether it's GCA, Chamber of Commerce, or GHRA, because these three organizations together with even the Employers Council, these organizations work together to ensure that we all protect our assets, work together so we can move forward and find balance with each other. Really, we have, within the tourism industry, we also oversee specific operational areas such as engineering, environmental, HR, PR, and marketing. So there are a lot of operational things that we handle, such as certifications, even within the industry. So we're a very valuable organization in that. We're also a member of the Guam Workforce Investment Board together with the other organizations, and we conduct an annual wage survey that I think most people find valuable each year as we help provide that benchmark for everybody to refer to. So as far as an organization, I think you know, if you have any questions for tourism, I'm available later. If you want to know how to work together with us so that you can share your concerns, again, I'm available, or you can contact me at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Next, we will be hearing from Carl Peterson. Carl.
Thank you very much, Carrie. The Guam Chamber of Commerce has been around for 85 years and represents over 300 member companies and between 30 and 40,000 employees, so a very big organization. Let me, in view of the presentation by our previous lunchtime speaker, let me paraphrase what the Chamber of Commerce stands for by telling you a story. There was a shoe company many years ago that decided that they wanted to expand, so they sent their two top salesmen to another country, to different cities, and they asked the two shoe salesmen to report back. One no sooner got to the country and called back, and he says, "I'm on the next plane coming home. There's no chance for us to sell shoes in this country because nobody wears shoes." Several days later, though, they heard from the second salesperson, and he says, you know, stop what you're doing right now. Focus all your assets and all your time and effort on developing a manufacturing company in this country. You see, nobody's got our product. It was all about possibility thinking, and that's what the mayor was telling us today. That is transformation thinking. It's possibility thinking. Anybody who wishes to have a job and is able to perform the job and have the skill sets to do the job will be able to get a job. And the more education, the more skill sets that we acquire, the better that job will be. The Chamber of Commerce wants every single person on Guam to improve their living standard. Now just stop and think why. Chamber of Commerce members or any business person, any entrepreneur wants to sell their product or their service to someone. That someone has to be able to buy it, and the more money that they have, the more they will buy. So the higher the standard of living, the better. And so the Chamber of Commerce really wishes everyone to take their initiative and to focus on